Hey, it's Luke from LT Gaming, and today I've got something a little bit special. Well, don't we always for you at LT Gaming? Me and Tom have teamed up to bring you 8 new wargames every strategy fan should be watching in 2026. And this list leans a little bit more hardcore. We're talking proper turn-based depth, niche mechanics, and games that don't always scream for attention, but absolutely deserve it. And if you enjoy this kind of deep strategy wargaming content, consider dropping a like. It helps push these games onto the radar where they belong. Alright, let's get into it. Space Imperia 4X is essentially a digital adaptation of a long-running hardcore board wargame, and that DNA really shows. It's turn-based 4X where fog of war, hidden information and careful fleet movement are the core of everything you do. Instead of the usual big flashy space empires, this is much more about tension and uncertainty, where you're scouting, bluffing and trying to outthink your opponent without ever fully knowing what they've built or where they're the strongest. Been chatting to the developer also, seems like a really cool and nice guy, and I think projects like this deserve your support. For LT gamers, this is one of those games that feels almost tailor-made for the niche. It strips away a lot of the usual 4X bloat and focuses on decision making, pacing and meaningful turns that can be played in a much shorter session without losing the depth of the game. If you like the idea of a more tactical wargame leaning take on space strategy, basically something closer to a board wargame than a traditional 4X, this is definitely one to keep firmly on your radar. And like I said, let's support all the devs on this list. These projects are wonderful, and for gamers like us, they're just not that well represented, so always offer your support where you can. It's great that me and Tom built this channel off the genuine passion we have for gaming from our youth, and we feature so many indie titles and developers. I'd just like to thank all of you for the contributions that you've made over the time that we've done this channel. It's really appreciated. Just a little moment there, enjoy it.
Sudden Strike 5 looks like the more traditional real-time tactics option in this list, with huge World War II battles, over 300 units, a 25 mission campaign, and that classic large-scale battlefield that the series is known for. So the foundations are there, and that's quite promising. That being said, after trying the demo, both Luke and I have a few concerns, and they centre around performance. It didn't feel smooth enough. A lot of stuttering, a lot of issues which I just didn't like. But to be fair, the devs did come out after Next Fest and openly say that there are issues that they are working on, and it's their biggest priority. So going into 2026, it feels like this is one to watch, but with that asterisk of being a little bit cautious. It's officially supposed to launch on April 23rd. We will definitely take a look at this release and let you guys know if it is one worth picking up.
Tabletop Tavern is a really interesting blend of real-time tactics and roguelike progression, where you build up a roster of mercenaries and throw them into chaotic tabletop-style battles that feel like a miniature wargame brought to life. I played the demo of this one, and I have to say I really enjoyed the mechanics, and even though roguelite isn't my thing, the battles were so good I just had to keep playing. And in this regard, each run is different, with new units, gear and decisions shaping how your army evolves. And the battlefield itself leans heavily into positioning, timing and unit synergy rather than just throwing numbers at the problem. I have to say, there's a load of armies in this with a massive amount of units, and it does look really impressive from that side. It gives us loads of replayability. For my LT gamers out there, this one is one of those games that stands out because it mixes the accessibility side with genuine tactical depth. It's a bit more approachable than some of the games on this list, and that's welcome. I mean, we don't always want the super grognard style wargame, you just want to jump in and have some fun, and this game definitely appeals to that. Though there is enough complexity in that roguelike progression to bring you back for more. It's got that just one more run feel, and underneath it there's real decision making and battlefield awareness required to succeed. If you guys like the idea of something that sits somewhere between Total War style engagements with the roguelike progression systems, this feels like a fresh take on the genre. It really is a game I think will surprise people once it lands. Just a quick interlude to say most of you who watch the channel are not subscribed. So make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button, because it helps smaller channels like us grow really quickly, and both me and Tom really appreciate it.
Panzer Strike looks like it is aiming straight at that old school 2000s RTS crowd, so me basically, with a very no-nonsense World War II setup built around huge maps, long-range firepower, and no base building faff to get in the way. You're picking between Germany and the Soviet Union, working with more than 40 types of military equipment, and the pitch here is about classic battlefield tactics rather than any modern gimmicks. For the 2026 angle, it's slated for Q3, and I think the main reason for flagging it up to you guys is it feels very focused in what it wants to be. They're currently taking playtest requests, so feel free to give that a shot, and the game is promising both solo and multiplayer along with non-linear missions. For me, it looks like one for people who just want clean old school real-time wargame fun with a bit of scale to it. Steam and Iron Battle of Port Arthur now, and this one stands out straight away to me because naval war games are already a bit of a rare beast, and setting one around Port Arthur gives it a much more distinctive hook. This is going to be a real-time naval simulator built around 20th century steamships with Japanese and Russian fleets, individual ship handling, weather, sea state, time of day effects, and a built-in mission editor. Graphically, to me, it looks very promising as well, which really helps because many historical naval games can feel a bit dry at the first glance. For 2026, they are targeting Q3 as well as an early access release, and the main thing to watch for me is how the broader campaign layer will come together. The devs say the current build already has over 20 ships, starter missions for both fleets, and the core combat systems, so there's a lot to be added, don't get me wrong, but I'm very excited for something with a bit of proper long-term depth here.
Sword and Siege Crusades Book 1 is very much a no-compromise classic wargame experience, taking you into the first and second Crusades through a detailed hex-based system where battles, sieges and map control all play a critical role. This one's not just about winning fights either, it's about managing position, supply and momentum across a hostile landscape, with a large set of scenarios and branching campaigns that let you approach the conflict from multiple angles. For LT gamers in 2026, this is exactly the kind of game that stands out. It leans fully into depth and historical detail, but isn't always the most accessible. However, it will reward players who enjoy learning systems and thinking a few steps ahead. There's a detailed PDF quick start guide and manual, and they're very useful, so if you do pick this up, I recommend you going through those. They pretty much teach it to you very quickly. If you're into Field of Glory style gameplay or those older, more intricate war games, this is one that feels built for that audience. And with it finally coming to Steam, it's likely to get the attention it's always deserved. And also, while this one's coming to Steam, we'll give you a bonus game. The second title, Book 2, is also coming to Steam as well, and keep an eye out for future WDS titles. You don't have long to wait here either, they both hit Steam on the 20th of April.
Battleplan is really a different sort of war game, because if instead of dragging you across individual squads, it puts you in command of whole divisions across massive World War II battlefields, letting you draw plans directly onto the map and trusting your officers to carry them out. I covered this recently after getting advanced access, and honestly I really connected with it because it felt both different and, to be honest, just flat out fun to play, and it gave it a very different energy to a lot more traditional war games. Now, looking at 2026, this one is marked down as coming soon, but there's been a lot of updates recently, and from the recent demo to all the dev diary material, I would definitely expect something in this year. So let's keep a little caution till the full release picture is a bit clearer, but it's absolutely one of the most intriguing war games on the horizon because it's doing something different rather than just marching along in the usual formation.
Total Victory World in Conflict 1939-45 is aiming to be one of those full-scale, no shortcuts World War II grand strategy wargames. Not quite sure how I got through all of that, that was a pretty tense sentence. It's going to put you in control of entire nations across Europe and the Pacific, managing everything from production and research to armies, air forces and naval fleets. It clearly leans heavily on classic board game inspiration, with systems built around detailed unit control, realistic data and a map design focused on clarity rather than spectacle. All coming from Kraken, an indie developer behind the Warplan series. Now, I did forget his title on the last wargame list I did, and he did let me know it, but literally sometimes I just forget. There's so much going on, so many titles, occasionally one slips by, but here it is. If you're looking for a deeper dive on this one, check out the YouTuber Zilla Blitz. I always enjoy his stuff, to be honest. But what does this mean for you LT gamers? Well, this one is shaping up to be a big one to watch, especially with a demo on the way and a planned September release. It sits right in that sweet spot between accessibility and hardcore depth, offering true play the entire war experience without losing that wargame feel. If you're into Hearts of Iron style scale, but want something that leans more into traditional system-driven wargaming roots, this could be one of the standout World War II titles to keep firmly on your radar this year. I've been Luke from LT Gaming, and Tom's been Tom, well, from LT Gaming, and we'll catch you on the next one.